Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope that you are fine. Today, let us study about women, caste, and reform. Before that, I want to ask certain questions. Do you like schools? Which school you like most? Do you like to go to school? Do you like to attend public meetings? Do you attend public spaces like auditoriums, seminar halls, marriage ceremony? Do you want to attend? I hope that you are all interested in attending these public spaces. You are all interested in going to school. I hope that you are much interested in going to school. Even girl children as well as boys, girls as well as boys, they are much interested to go to school because in schools you can see your friend, you can talk to them, you can mingle with them, so that you like schools very much. So sometimes in this circumstance, sometimes you may miss schools, but you like schools very much. I know that you like schools very much. You like teachers, you like your friends. Sometimes you may have close friends. So you like schools, public spaces, to attend marriage, ceremonies, festivals, etc. You like very much. But you think about 200 years back, 200 years ago, 200 years ago, the things are not like this. 200 years ago, whatever the freedom now you enjoy, that you didn't get in, you won't get in that time. You won't get that such a type of freedom 200 years ago. 200 years ago, the things are not like that. So that today we want to study about what are the changes that happen today and what are the things that existed 200 years ago. So let us study. So most children in earlier time, 200 years ago, most of these children, especially the girl children, they were married off at an early age. Now, if I ask what you wish to do, you may say that being a student, you may say that I want to study, I want to go to school. So, but these 200 years ago, these girl children, they were not allowed to give education. They were not allowed to give education. At their early age, they were married. They were married off. At their early age itself. Look, they were not getting education. They were not getting education. Right? They did not get the right to education. They did not get the right to education. But now you know that the right to education that become a fundamental right. RTE, that is RTE. Right to education that now become a fundamental right. But 200 years ago, girl children, they were not allowed to give education. Moreover, at their early age itself, they were married. They were married. Poor children. They won't access education. They don't know anything about the marriage that can they enter at their tender age or their young age itself. They will enter into marriage. So that was the circumstance. That was the circumstance in the early age, or we can say 200 years ago. Next, even Hindu, Muslim, men can marry more than one wife. Men and women, men can marry more than one wife. Polygamy, you have heard about polygamy. More than one wife they can maintain. At the same time, women, they can't even after the death of husband also they can't allowed to remarry. Widow remarriage was not allowed in that time. But men, they can marry more than one wife. They can marry even Hindu and Muslim. They can marry more than one wife. Then you may ask, if they marry more than one wife, what is their problems? Problem is there. What problem? because they marry at the early age. Well, these girls they marry, these small children, we can say that children married aged man. Sometimes the girl may be 14 years of age, 14 years of age. That girl married to a 45 or 50-year-old man. Look the differences, age differences. This person may be married a lady earlier married may be married earlier. Afterwards, the same person married another girl, and at this girl may be a small child, or maybe 14 years or 15 years age old. That child married by this old man. We can say old man. Now we can say old man. In that time, they consider that these kinds of system that existed in that time. Once again, I will tell you that the problem related to these kinds of marriage. The problem is that the girl child may be 14 or 15 years of age. She does not know anything about marriage. She wants to study, but they won't give education, and she will be married off to this old man. When this old man married that girl, some years after this man will die, the girl become a widow. That time this girl will not allow to remarry. So that afterwards the girl's life become miserable. That was the system that existed in that time. Now you understand about the difficulties of these kinds of things. Next, widows were praised. Widows were praised. Sometimes at this girl, when this girl become 14 or 15 years of age, this girl married. After 5 years or 10 years after her husband died, maybe old man or any diseases or anything like that, or accident or anything happened, husband died. This girl will be asked to die herself. Why? Because they think that after the death of husband, the girl can die. They may say that if girl decided to die, they will praise. Look the condition. What a situation. The girl child, or that widowed girl only we can say, because 14 or 15 or 16, 17, 18, that's at this time, if that husband died, definitely this girl child decided to die herself. That will be praised. That will be praised by other people. What a horrible situation. Look, that widows were praised. When they chose death. After the death of her husband. If husband died, that girl can't live. Won't allow to live. You know that they won't allow to live. Who won't allow to live? People in that time, they won't allow the girl to live or remarry another man. So that was the system that existed. These kinds of system that existed in that time, 200 years ago. These kinds of bad practices that existed in the society. Next, suppose if husband died, that funeral pyre is there. Funeral pyre in that area. This lady will jump into that funeral pyre. The lady jump into that funeral pyre. This widowed lady jump into that funeral pyre. Suppose if that widowed lady, she is not ready to jump into the fire. She want to leave. She want to leave, but the society won't allow to leave. So what the society will do? So the society will take a big bamboo stick and push her into that funeral pyre. Even though she is not ready to jump into that funeral pyre, but the society, what the society will do? Society will take a big bamboo stick, sharp edge of that bamboo stick, push her into that funeral pyre. That system came to be known as sati. Sati, that was prevalent in that time. That was a social evil. Now you know that was a social evil. practiced in that time. Look the condition of women in the society. 200 years ago, women, they were not given education. They will be married off at the early age itself, and they won't give proper education. More than the widows were praised. Once this lady become a widow, definitely this lady was asked to choose death. The lady was asked to choose death. That will be praised by other people. Look the condition. Next, the practice of sati that was prevalent in that time. Practice of sati that was prevalent in that time. Next, women's right to property that was restricted. You know that male or female, that inheritance, as per the inheritance right, the property will be equally shared. Now you know, Hindu Succession Right Act, you know, as per that, the share will be equally shared or equally divided. So the property of the parents will be equally divided now like that, but in earlier time not like that. Earlier time, you know that women, they won't get these kinds of property. They won't get inheritance. From their parents. From their parents, they won't get inheritance. Now you know that all children will be considered, male or female, considered equally, and property will be given equally. But in that time, look the situation that women right to property that was restricted. That they won't give these kinds of property. Suppose if they want property to live also, they won't give property. 200 years ago, that was the situation. That was the situation in that time. Next, women, they were not access to education. Women, suppose a girl child want to study, she may be brilliant, and she want to study. That time parents also decided to give education. Society won't allow her to access education. Society won't allow her to access education. Why society won't allow her to access education? They think that if education will be given to the girl child, this girl child become a widow. Others, suppose these parents may think that better to give education to the girl child. She can stand on her foot. But society may say that no, you won't do such kinds of things. If you do such kinds of things, or if you give education to girl child, this girl child become a widow. These kinds of things they propagated or spread in the society. These kinds of ideas, wrong ideas, they spread in the society. Look the conditions of women in that time. The conditions of women in that time, that was miserable and pathetic. The condition of women, that was miserable and pathetic. Now you know that women will get respect from the society. Women will get as the status enjoyed by the men now, and even not discriminating women. Gender, any kind of gender discrimination is not practiced anywhere in the world. But in India, 200 years ago, this was the situation and this was the circumstance. So, women, there were no access to education. Women, they did not have any access to education. Suppose if that women study or women learn education, other people may say that, the society may say that this woman become a widow. This woman become a widow. Why? She access education. People believe like that. These kinds of blind belief was in that time. Next, domination of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. You know that in earlier society, that there were 4 castes, there 4 varnas are there. Which are the 4 varnas? Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they were superior in the society. Who were superior in the society? Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they were the upper caste. They enjoyed all powers and privileges. They were superior in the society. The Brahmins, they can receive recite charms. In the temples, they can recite charms. They can study Sanskrit charms, and they will get a proper education also. The Brahmins enjoyed all kinds of powers and privileges. They were influential in the society. They enjoyed all kinds of powers. Who enjoyed? Brahmins enjoyed all kinds of powers and privileges. Kshatriyas become the ruling class. You know that a Kshatriya, if a person was born as a Kshatriya, he become a ruler. So Kshatriyas also become influential in the society. They were also upper caste population. They spread the idea that Brahma created these four castes. Brahma, the Almighty God, Brahma created these four castes. Brahmins that was created by Brahma through his words. So Brahmins can live with their mouth because they can study there and they can recite the charms, Sanskrit charms or mantras. They can recite. Who can recite it? Brahmins. So Brahmins are created like this. That was the belief. Next, Kshatriyas were created by Brahma through his hands. Kshatriyas are created by Brahma or God through his hands. So Kshatriyas always take sword, weapons, so they become the rulers. Then another thing that was that Vaishyas. How Vaishyas are created by Brahma. Vaishyas are created by the Thai that was created by Vaishyas. So that they can sit in one place and they can do trade. They can engage in commercial activities, or they become the traders. So Vaishyas. Shudras, they were the inferior class, menial or inferior class. So Shudras were inferior or menial class. The Brahma created by his feet, so that they were menial class. They had to work hard for Brahmin, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Brahmin, Kshatriyas, another caste. They were like slaves, or they were servants in the society. So such a system that existed in that time. Next we want to know about money lenders. Vaishyas were money lenders. You know that money they will lend money to the people, those who are in need. They will give money to them, and they may collect a huge interest and they acquire money. So they were traders. They were Vaishyas. They were traders. Their power also increased. Brahmins' power increased. Kshatriyas' power increased. Vaishyas also influential in the society. At the same time, Shudras, their condition was very miserable. The condition was miserable. Now I hope that you understood. Next, peasants, artisans, weavers and potters. Peasants, artisans, potters, weavers, they were considered as Shudras. They were menial class. They were Shudras. They were the lower caste people. Next, these Shudras were considered as untouchables. Shudras were considered as untouchables. You studied and you learned about untouchable system or untouchability that existed in our country. The untouchables means these peoples were not allowed to touch other people. If suppose these people accidentally touch a person, this person belongs to Kshatriya or Brahmin, Kshatriya or Vaishya, he will go to bathroom and he will take a bath. Who will take a bath? This person may take a bath. Who will take bath? These upper caste people, they may take bath. Why they take bath? If this Shudra caste accidentally touch their body, why they take bath? Because they think that they become impure. If these Shudra caste or untouchable touch their body, they become impure, they will be polluted. They were polluted polluted or they become impure, so that they may go and take a bath. They may take a bath. They may take a bath. That time they think that now they become pure. Like that system is there. Untouchability and unapproachability also exist. What is unapproachability? Unapproachability here means that these lower caste people, they can't go to the temples, they can't go to the public spaces, they can't go to the areas that people meet. Suppose if they attend any meeting or anything like that, definitely upper caste people, they may say that unapproachability happened. It means that they were objectionable in seeing also. They were objectionable in seeing also. By seeing also that become a crime for them. So that they may say that why you come to the temple, why you come to the public spaces, they may tell them this untouchables that you go outside this area because these places are sacred places. This may be temple. This may be temple, so that you won't come to these temples. Separate temples were constructed for these untouchables peoples. Untouchables peoples, they were given separate temples. They were given separate temples for the untouchables. So printing press that changed the life of the people. How printing press changed the life of the people? Because when this printing press that was established, that time new books were published. New books, booklets, newspapers, everything published in that time. When the printing press that was established in that time several changes that happened. The main change is that when the printing press that was established, that time people began to read these kinds of books through their own language. That is important. In earlier times they did not get a chance to read because most of the books that were not written in their own language. When the printing press that became prevalent, that existed, that put forward, in that time what happens? People began to read a textbook. People began to read a textbook in their own language. In their own language, they can read books. In that books contains about many reforms. What are the things that want to reform the society? What are the social evils that practiced in our society? What are the things we want to change? That is nothing but reform. What are the things want to reform in the society? That will be explained in that books. So that people they can read the books, they can read the textbook. When the printing press that was established, they can read a textbook, they can go through the newspapers, so that they will get an idea, about that what content is there in that books, so that they can understand that these are all social evils. Whatever the system that existing or prevalent in that time, that are all social evils. People get awareness about these things, and people they began to think that this should be eradicated. This will eradicate in our society. Then only this society can be reformed. The society can be reformed. So that people began to think it. They began to think, and they began to form associations. They sit together. They discuss about this matter, so that the revolution or the change or the reform that happened in the society. So ordinary people, when they read books in their own language, that time they discuss the social problems. Which are the social problems that existed in the society? Child marriage, sadi, then widows were not allowed to marry. So these are all social evils in the society. They understood that these are all social evils in the society. So that they raised voice against these kinds of social evils. What helped them? The invention of printing press that changed the life of the people. When the new printing press that was implemented in India, that people began to read textbooks in their own language, and they raised voice against the existing social evils in the societies like sati, child marriage, and widows not allowed to marry. So these kinds of things that is existing in the society, and girls are not giving proper education. Girls at their young age itself they were asked to marry. So they began to raise voice against these kinds of social evils that existed in that time. So that discussed all the social problems. This led to the social movements in India. This led to the social movements in India. Which are the social movements that emerged, and who are the members? They come forward. Who are the reformers? They come forward. Let us discuss. First one, Rajaram Mohan Roy or Ram Mohan Roy. Rajaram Mohan Roy, or we can say that Ram Mohan Roy. Rajaram Mohan Roy, he established Brahma Samaj. He established Brahma Samaj in Calcutta. He established Brahma Samaj. Who established this Rajaram? What was the aim of this Brahma Samaj? The aim of this association was to eradicate all the social evils that existed in the society. So for that he established Brahma Samaj. Brahma Samaj that was established by Rajaram Mohan Roy, and his aim was to eradicate all the social evils that existed in our society. So he asked a better thing. He said that we can eradicate or we can wipe out all social evils. The best method is that you have to stop these kinds of practice. First thing you must do is that all people should stop these kinds of social practices. You never practice such things. You can stop it. If you stop these kinds of practices, religious practices or social practices or these kinds of social evils, you stop it. So who said Rajaram? He asked us to stop with the old practice. Which are the old practices that existed in Indian society? Sati, child marriage. These are all social evils. Women not giving proper education. Women were asked to marry at their young age. So that these are all social evils. He asked to stop these kinds of things. He said that to stop these social evils, society they stop these kinds of social practices, so that definitely these kinds of social practices will stop. So that is the best method, he said. So then he gave importance to Western education. He learned many languages, including English language also. He learned many languages, including English also. He gave importance of the studies of English. He said the importance of learning English. He said that all Indians they can learn and study English. This helps them to know about Western culture, and how they are enjoying freedom. And these are all social events. Then only they can understand that people can understand in India there exist social events, and in Western countries they enjoy vast freedom. So that through these kinds of English education or Western education, once they learn Western education, many books are available in English language, so that they can read that language, they can understand about the social evils, and they can raise voice against the social evils, and they can stop these kinds of social evils in the societies, so that they will get inspiration from the Western education. So that he argued or he propagated Western education to eradicate such kinds of social evils. Next, he gave importance to women education. He said that men and women are equal in the society. Both men and women are equal in the society. Never show gender inequality, gender discrimination. Never show gender inequality or gender discrimination. All should be treated equally. Men and women, they need education in the society. So that he argued or he advocated for women education. Who advocated for women education? Rajaram Mohan Roy or Ram Mohan Roy argued for women education. He advocated for women education. Next, we want to know about that. He conducted campaign against Sati. He conducted many campaigns against Sati. Sati, that was the system that prevailed in the ancient society. So he said that Sati should be stopped. Women, they can remarry. So that he said like that. So he advocated his Brahma Samaj give importance to Western education, then giving importance to Western education, then women's education, then campaign against Sati, so that these kinds of social evils can be removed. He said so that first you do one thing is stop practicing such kinds of religious practice, so that you can stop one by one these kinds of practices. Who said Rajaram Mohan said due to his great effort sati was abolished by the Britishers. Independent Britishers they abolished sati in India. In which year sati that was abolished by the Britishers? In the year 1829 sati that was banned. In the year 1829 sati that was banned in India. That became a great relief to the women in the society. That became a great relief to the women in the society. So many women they get a chance to live, right to live. That become a fundamental right now. So that women they can live in the society, so that they get a chance to live. Otherwise, what will happen after the death of husband? They have to conduct sati. They have to conduct sati. Sometimes they were not ready to jump into the fire. Also, they will be pushed into the fire. Suppose they want to leave, also they won't allow to leave. Right? They were not allowed to leave. It means they were denied of right to leave also in that time. But things changed when due to the activities of Brahma Samaj and therefore the great effort of Rajaram Mohan Roy, things changed. And what happened? Sati that was abolished in the year 1829. In the year 1829, sati was totally abolished in India. That became a great relief to the women in the society. I hope that you understood about the reforms of Rajaram Mohan Roy and the importance of Brahma Samaj, how he stopped sati with the help of Britishers, that you understood it very well. Next we want to know about Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he also advocated for the freedom of the women. He advocated for the freedom of women, and he said that women could give education like men. Like men, women also need education. Who advocated? Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar advocated that women also need education like men. And used ancient text, widows can in the ancient. He used ancient textbook. He read ancient textbook. He find a lot of things from the ancient textbook, and he understood that women they can widows they can marry. Widows they can marry. What the society said earlier? Society said that widows they were not allowed to live. But who said Ishwar Vidyasagar said, referring to this ancient textbook, and he said that women can live in the society. Widows they can live in the society. Widows they can remarry. He said that widows they can remarry after the death of husband. They don't need to jump into the fire. They don't need to conduct a sati, but they can remarry. He said the freedom of women in the society. He used the ancient textbook, and he said that widows can marry. There is no problem in this regard. There is no problem. The next, in 1856, due to his great effort, due to the great effort of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, in the year 1856, widow remarriage act was passed. Which act was passed? Widow remarriage act was passed. So earlier, widows, that widows they were pushed into the fire. That is sati. Otherwise, they have to shave their head. Who want to shave their head? Women, they were asked to shave their head, and they were asked to live in the inner rooms. What comes to the public places, and they were asked to wear white dress. The women they were asked to wear white dress. They wore only white sarees. They won't allow to wear any other color dress. Suppose if they wish to wear color dress also, they won't allow. If any marriage of their relatives also, they were not allowed to attend that function. Why they think so? Because they think that if that widow will attend that meeting, that will become a bad omen or unauspicious. Unauspicious or bad omen, they think like that, and they said that the women they don't need this widow, they won't attend the important functions or public scenes or public functions, they won't attend. Who won't attend? Widows were not allowed to wear color sarees. Widows were not allowed to enter the public meetings. Widows were not attend to main functions like marriage, birthday function and other functions. They were not allowed to attend. Suppose if they attend any marriage or anything like that, if they attend accidentally or by mistake they don't know about this matter, and if they attend that marriage, definitely other people may say that this is unauspicious, or they may say bad omen. They may say bad omen or unauspicious because this widow attended that marriage. So that this was these kinds of thought that prevailed in that time. These kinds of thought or these kinds of ideas that prevailed in ancient time. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was against this due to his great effort. In the year 1859, this widow remarriage act was passed. Widows, they can marry now. They enjoy the freedom. They can live. Widows, they can marry and they can lead their life. So that was 1857. With the help of Britishers also noticed the effort of this Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. So that Britishers in the year 1856, with the help of Ishwar Vidyasagar, they banned this kinds of practices, and they allowed widow remarriage. Widow remarriage act was passed in the year 1856. Next we want to study about Veerasalingam Padalu. Veerasalingam Padalu. Next we want to study about Veerasalingam Padalu. This Rajaram was a great reformer, social reformer. We can say great social reformer. And then Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar also a great social reformer. And next Veerasalingam Padalu also a great social reformer. He also want to reform the society. Who want to reform the society? Veerasalingam, he want to reform the society. He said that the society should be reformed, giving proper education to girl children. Giving proper education to girl child. The girl children, they were asked to study. They can study, they can learn, and they can acquire any job. They can live freely, and they can study, and they can choose their husband also. They can choose their husband. Sometimes in earlier time we know that women, they did not have any choice to select the husband. It means that suppose parents will decide or other members will decide, and the girl will just support it. That's all. But these reformers said that women, they have choice to select their husband. Suppose if they did not like that marriage, if parents fixed on marriage, at the same time this girl is not ready to marry that person, that time this girl can oppose it. And the girl can marry if he can share his dislike. But in ancient time, this was not allowed. Which was not allowed. If suppose if that girl said that I don't like that person, so the parents they may say that this girl is against against our practices. This girl is against our practices. So that we want to conduct the marriage. They won't say that we don't want to conduct. They will say that we want to conduct the marriage. We want to hear the words of the women in the society. Women are inferior than the men. So that these kinds of ideas that spread in that time. So Veerasalingam Padalu, he formed an association. Who formed an association? Veerasalingam Padalu, he formed an association in Madras Presidency, and he asked that widows. He said that widows, they can remarry. There is no problem in the society. In the society, that is good for the society. Widows, they never continue their life alone. They never continue their life alone without marrying, so that they can marry. Because you know that a child marriage was prevalent in that time. These girl children, they marry at their tender age or any age. That times these who married that person become old person. Sometimes this old person may die. Afterwards this girl can lead a life of misery. No need to lead a life of misery living alone. This girl get a chance to marry. Widow remarriage, that was possible. He said that widow remarriage that he can practice and it can be possible. So that widows, they can marry. There is no problem in the society. Widows, let them marry because they have a choice. They have a choice to live. They have the right to live the society. So this Veerasalingam Padalu formed an association in the Madras Presidency, and he said that girl children, they can study in schools. Girl children, they can do any any kind of job in the society, and even they can, if suppose if they become a widow also, they can remarry. They can remarry. So that was advocated by V.S. Lingam Bhandari. So due to his effort, in the Madras presidency, so many women they get a life to live. They get a life to live in the society. They get many widows. They get a chance to remarry. They can lead a prosperous life afterwards. So next we want to study about another social reformer, that is Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Sometimes you may hear about Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Next we are going to study about Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Swami Dayananda Saraswati also a greatest social reformer. Brahma Samaj was established by Rajaram Mohan Roy or Ram Mohan Roy. At the same time, Arya Samaj was established by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Who established Arya Samaj? Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Who established Brahma Samaj? Ram Mohan Roy or Rajaram Mohan Roy. This Arya Samaj was established by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. The aim of this association was to support remarriage, to support the widows. They can remarriage. Widows remarriage. He advocated for widows remarriage. Widows they can remarriage. And he started many schools for girls. In earlier times, girls were not allowed to study. Girls were not allowed to study. Only boys were allowed to study. They believe that if girls will study, what will happen, sir? They won't obey the words of their husband. One thing. They won't. If they another thing is that if girls will get education, definitely they become widow. Then they think that if girls will get education and they get a job, they won't do the household work, household duties. They won't do household duties. You know very well that nowadays that husband and wife both are working. Both are taking care of their children. Both are doing household work. Both are sharing their income for the expense of their family. So that there is no problem now. Now men, women all are enjoying freedom. They can do any sort of. But the situation is not like that in that time. During 200 years back, during the time of these social reformers, the situation was not like that. Many social reformers were threatened also. In that times, those who advocate for social freedom in the society, that times many social reformers were threatened by these Orthodox Hindus. Orthodox Hindus were against these kinds of things because they want to practice their old customs. They want to practice their old customs and traditions. They want to put forward their own social practices. But due to the effort of these reformers only, things changed. These things changed due to their great effort. That time, when they want to reform the society, these people they got a lot of sufferings. They were threatened and they were warned by people. They were warned by the Orthodox Hindus and those who are strongly believing this social system in the society. They almost even upper caste people were like Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, like these people. They were also against these things because they were prevalent in the society. They existed a full power in the society. They enjoyed all kinds of social evils in the society. At the same time, the social reformers they advocate for the freedom of these lower caste people, untouchables, and these that menial class people, that Shudras, for the Shudras also they advocated freedom. That time these upper caste people they were against this, like Brahmins, Kshatriyas, they were against this system. They were against this system.